Llama, 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 come in my pants. Llama, 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 come in my pants. See, do, here comes the goo. Guess we can clean it. It's really clean them.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the Pulse of Willie and Al. How's it going today, bro?
Oh man, pretty good, pretty good. How about you?
Good, man. We are back. We are with episode 90 today.
Woo.
It's kind of crazy. Jeez, I got so excited I shook the desk.
Yeah,
Jeez, yeah. Man.
put us
Yeah.
in a nursing home now. 90
Yeah.
episodes, that's it.
Yeah, so we are back with episode 90 today, and if you guys are wondering, like, hey, this you guys look the same like you did in episode 89, that's because we are
Yeah,
recording this one a little bit early,
yeah.
because I'm doing a
The
little bit
police
of
are mad.
yeah.
They found out we're recording early. They're after us.
Yeah, they're
So
after us. Yeah, and they're
yeah,
because we've got a little bit of international travel that's going to take place over the next week. So we're
yeah,
trying to get this to you. So we if you're out there saying like, hey, stuff in the NFC West, there's other stuff that's going on that they missed. You'll understand why,
yeah,
but I promise we won't let it fall through the cracks. We'll make sure we get back to it on the following episode after that.
yeah.
But let's go ahead and break down the NFC West, right? First, we've got the San Francisco 49ers, which it feels weird saying this. Like, I went through and did my notes for it. I went through and looked at the standings, all of that stuff, but I feel like I had to go through and look at them again because the 49ers finished fourth at 6 and 11 in their division. So it just like really it was a tumultuous and just a disappointing season starting with McCaffrey. And I had people that played fantasy football last year that told me they'll never play again because he burned them with the first overall pick. Um, the faded McCaffrey Achilles injury. Um, but then just like thinking about the stuff that's happened with this team, right? Like Brandon Ayuk wants to get paid, right? Then gets hurt very early into the season. Brock Purdy ends up getting signed, right? So he's their guy. But this team, they lost Debo and they lost many members of the defense. Like a lot of guys on this defense are not there anymore that we were used to seeing. One guy
Yeah.
they did bring back in coaching was Robert Saleh. So he's back as the defensive coordinator for this team, which I think is really going to help them a lot. And that showed with what they did. They hardly made any moves in free agency at all. Very, very minor moves that they made. But the draft is where this team really wanted to kind of put their imprint on this year's stock of players that came through. And they started with Mikael Williams out of Georgia, which just crazy, another Georgia player, right?
Yeah.
But if he pans out, right, like having Bosa and him rushing the passer, he's gonna give offensive line coaches fits, like both of them will, right? Like they right as soon as they did that in the draft, right after they pick Williams, they come right back in the second and they take Alfred Collins out of Texas. Which just to put this in perspective, Al, this guy's 6'6", 332 pounds, and he's a problem, an
Mhm.
absolute problem for people. So this is
Yeah.
a team that got their shit kicked in last year, and this year they're going to start out of the gates with a very strong defensive line, very good linebacking core, and a fairly good secondary as well, right? And they've got leaders at every level on this defense as well.
I'm gonna say a thing. This team was like the hardest one. Everything that I keep reading is like everybody seems to think the 49ers are going to be good because of that strength of schedule of theirs. And I'm just gonna say a thing. Brandon Ayuk isn't gonna be back till like at least week 6.
Yep, that's right.
And like I respectfully, I know Ricky Pearsall got shot last season, and like so you didn't really see a ton of him.
Yeah, I'm shocked that he even like came back and played. It really was like, wow, how is this guy doing this?
Yeah, I between that and like Jawan Jennings, like I I don't know, man. You could tell me that this team's going to finish 12-5 and just wreak havoc again on defense, or you could tell me this team finishes like 5-12, and like I would believe either of those. Like those
Well,
are both very plausible.
well, let me ask you this, because this is the question that I think kind of tips the seesaw, right? Does
Sure.
McCaffrey play 17 games? Because if he plays 17 games, this is a could be a playoff football team.
No,
Most likely will be a
because
playoff team.
here's the thing. If you told me that they kept Jordan Mason,
Hmm.
I'd be like, cool. Actually Jordan Mason was pretty good in his time starting last year,
Yeah,
but they shipped him off to the Vikings of all places.
which is perfect system for him to be able to
Yeah.
go. But like,
Um, I don't think McCaffrey plays 17 games because
yeah,
he's already dealing with Achilles tightness.
yeah,
Like with like, and that doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like I don't think you're going to get a full 17 out of McCaffrey. I
hmm,
don't. I think if he plays 12 games, you're going to be lucky.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which now that you've like kind of posed the question like that to me, George Kittle's another year older, and like as somebody that kind of got to ride the highs and lows of that last year with him in fantasy, it's not great.
he's always
Like,
banged up too. I mean, he had a great year
yeah,
for you, but he's always banged up, man. And it's like not really knowing each week what he's gonna do.
he's the guy in fantasy you're seeing at like 12:55 on a Sunday, being like, oh, he's still questionable. Oh, he just went to out, and now I can't replace him with anybody.
Yeah,
Sick.
yeah.
Like, um,
Um, I mean,
yeah, I think they're gonna finish probably 7-10 if I like really had to like guess at it. Like,
mhm. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Salah, he's a great defensive coordinator, man. Didn't have the success as at the head coaching position that I think many had hoped for and he had hoped for. But he's back in the system, and I feel like this is a good spot for him to be. This team still, like, it's not like one of the teams we had been talking about in the NFC South. Like, this team is loaded with talent still.
yeah,
Um, on both sides of the ball, like elite playmakers on both sides of the ball. My biggest thing is like, can McCaffrey stay healthy and can Shanahan figure it out this year, right? Does Ayuk come back healthy? What does he look like when he comes back? Is he a dominant number one? Is he not? Like, then you just invested all of that money in him. And I realize that, hindsight's 2020, but it's like, I didn't think he deserved the money to begin with, and then he ends up getting hurt, right? So like
yeah.
I have them finishing 7 and 10 too. Uh I think that's where they're gonna be. They're gonna be third in the division this year. Um
I think too, if they have another really poor season,
mhm.
I there's a world where they get rid of Kyle Shanahan.
Ooh.
Because here's the thing, and I think we all know this, and nobody's willing to say this, but like Kyle Shanahan's not a good fourth quarter coach. He's
Hmm.
not. Like, you just look at his teams over the years, second half rolls around, and like they get super weird, and like there's enough tape of that now. Like, his team has lost two Super Bowls where they were up 10 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's
It's really tough.
I, yeah, and like he's the offensive coordinator in the 28-3 game.
Yeah. Your favorite.
Never forget, baby. Never
Never
forget.
forget, yeah. It was fixed. Arizona
How
Cardinals.
dare
Yeah.
you? How dare you, sir? How
Arizona
dare you?
Cardinals. They're up next, right? They finished third in the division last year, at 8-9. Some might say it was disappointing, but I saw it as a building year with Jonathan Gannon. I mean, year three's loading for them. Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvison Jr. Right, looks much
Yeah,
bigger.
Marvin Jr.
Yeah, Marvison Jr. That's what we'll do. We'll just shorten it, right? But he looks much bigger this year. Like he's coming in for a serious year. Uh,
Dude came into camp yoked.
yeah, he's a big
Oh
dude,
my gosh.
and it's just another year with, right, Kyler, Connor, Harrison Jr., and McBride, right?
Yeah.
Like, so let's see what happens with them. I mean, in free agency, they did quite a bit in terms of defense, right? They bring in Dalvin Tomlinson, as well as Josh Sweat, because they want to stop the run, but they also want to be able to get after the quarterback. Josh Sweat played with Gannon before, or played for Gannon before when he was in Philly. So they're used to each other, right? I mean, the draft, they made some nice picks, right? Walter Nolan and Will Johnson. I just saw Will Johnson on TV yesterday. Like, you know, I think these are good moves that when you look at what Monty Osenfort is doing in the front office there, it's aligning with Jonathan Gannon, right?
Yeah.
It makes it, when they're making these picks and they're addressing the defense or they're addressing the offense and infusing the team with youth, it seems like it's with purpose. And that's a got to be a feel good thing for Arizona fans. I know they've been waiting for a few years here. I'm not even sure if this is the team that Kyler's going to take on that is eventually going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
He may not be the quarterback there anymore by the time they're ready for that, right? But
Yeah.
I feel like this is a team that has good vibes about them. I just don't know that it's going to be this year for them. That's my biggest thing. I see some regression this year for them. Unfortunately, I'm hoping for good things. They've got one of the easiest schedules in the league this year, but I mean,
I think see this is where you and I were going to talk about Arizona and Seattle, and you and I think have vastly different views on both of these teams
mhm.
because I think this is the year Arizona. I think this is the year they kind of take a step forward.
Ooh, okay,
I now like I'm not saying they're going to win the division.
right.
I'm not in like realistically, Kyler Murray plays really good quarterback for the first half of every season. And then you're like, okay, well, maybe Kyler Murray's some MVP buzz. And then you're like, okay, by the end of November, you're like, just kidding. He's Kyler Murray. I think this is the year they kind of start putting some stuff together.
Ooh, okay.
And I think having an easier schedule helps.
Hmm.
I think you're gonna get a big year from Trey McBride. Like last year, he only had 2 touchdowns. I think you're gonna get here. He's gonna get a lot more touchdowns this
Yeah,
year.
yeah, that was just inhumane because you look at the amount of catches he had, the yards he had, all of it. It
Yeah,
just was dumb luck that he didn't have that. Um,
I I really think that I just think they're gonna do well this year. I don't think they're gonna I don't think they're gonna be like a great team, but I think they're gonna be pretty decent.
how do you have them
Like
finishing? Do you
I
have them as a
I
playoff team?
I don't have them as a playoff team. I think they're gonna contend though. I think they're gonna finish 9-8,
9-8.
and
Okay.
I think they're gonna finish second in that division.
Second in that division. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
I
Like
think
I
this
think the
is one of the
49ers are
first
gonna
ones
finish
we've disagreed about.
I think the 49ers are gonna finish last in that division. I think
Okay.
you and I both agree on that.
Yeah.
And I think you and I both agree on who's gonna win this division. But we're gonna talk about yeah. How do you have them finishing the Cardinals?
I actually have them finishing last in the division at 6-11.
Okay,
So I have them. I have San Francisco winning one more game than them, right? Like,
okay,
so it's. I mean, but it's pretty close, right? If it swaps
yeah,
between there, like I think these are the two bottom teams in here,
right,
and I think it's just because of the talent, right? Like I just feel better about the defenses and the offensive and defensive lines of the top two teams than I do the bottom two, right? And I think
sure,
San Francisco could make that switch, right? Like they could easily come out and just be very good again. They could, because they've got the talent on that team to be able to do it. But my issue with them is again same thing. Like can McCaffrey stay healthy for a full year? Because that
right.
changes that team on offense dramatically, dramatically.
Yeah, this division was like the hardest one to like figure out because there's just so many different variables in this division
Hmm.
that like you could easily make a case that any four of these teams in the division could win the division
You
this
could,
year,
yeah,
and I'd
yeah,
be
yeah.
like, okay, like I could see the roadmap for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Arizona played some teams really tough last year. I remember
yeah,
they didn't they beat Dallas. Like
mhm.
there was other teams that they were running the ball against, playing like getting turnovers on that. You're like, were they
And the
doing this?
thing is when Kyler Murray's playing smart football, he's like Lamar, where you just can't catch him.
You mean when he's not playing Call of Duty?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
okay,
Very,
yeah.
very important.
I'm a
Um,
Kyler fan. I think it's kind of childish that they ever put a clause in there like that. Like, if I don't know, I talk big, but I would have been like, yo, if I'm him, like, mind your own business, right? Like, you don't like me and you don't like the way I'm playing, then cut me, right? But putting stuff like that in I feel like it just provides unnecessary distraction, right? Clutter. You're supposed to. Every guy has to show up to the door and be a professional. If you can't, well, you're not going to keep a job. But
but the only reason you put that in a contract is because clearly his outside interests were affecting
yeah, at that
his
point,
stuff on the field.
yeah, it's sad that it had to get to a contract, right? Like that. because it
Yeah.
becomes other people's business at that point, right? And it just,
Right.
I don't know. For me, I didn't like that. I thought that was kind of poor taste. But I do like this organization. I really like the things that are going on there. And I think the fans, Arizona Cardinal fans, need to feel good about something. Guys like Jonathan Gannon, uh, Monty Ozenfort, like they're great for this organization. So I really think they're moving in the right direction. I just don't think this is the year for them.
Right.
Moving on, we got Seattle, right? The Seahawks last year they finished third in the NFC West at 10-7, but they didn't qualify for the playoffs. They were beat out by the Rams and the Vikings. Rams, Vikings, Packers, and Commanders as the wild card team. So, but this is Mike McDonald. Year two didn't go as well as it could have. Team played very good on the road, but they struggled very mightily at home. And I think that was a big issue for them because Seattle's usually a really difficult team place for other teams to play. It didn't seem that way last year, so they got to be able to figure
Yeah.
that out, how to kind of institute that more. But free agency, listen, a lot of changes here, right? DK Metcalf gone, Tyler Lockett gone, Geno Smith gone. They opted not to bring back Geno and swapped him for Sam Darnold. Um, like getting rid of your seven boyfriend and getting a five instead. But whatever. Maybe he's a
Sure.
6.5. But they brought in Cooper Cup. They also added Demarcus Lawrence, which I feel like it's not talked about enough. Like that's a really big deal for this defense.
I'm
Um,
gonna be honest with you. I forgot they brought in Demarcus Lawrence.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna be honest with you. I kind of forgot about that, and that has me kind of second guessing myself just a smidge.
yeah. He's a big
Just a
dude.
smidge.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
In the draft, they drafted a guy. I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. But Gray Zabel was the name that most people on draft night were scratching their head about. Mostly because they didn't know who the guy was because he was from North Dakota State. But this is a guy like he's played almost every position on the line. He's going to be a day one starter for them, and this guy absolutely dominated people at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Dominated people. Like some of the best pass rushers in this class, he was just tossing people. So he's going to be awesome on this line for them. They've got Nick Imanwari, who he's added to the secondary as a safety, right? Like from South Carolina, but like the guy, he's already getting added into a loaded secondary with guys like Witherspoon, Woolen, like those types of guys. But he's going to find his way into the starting lineup. He's too good not to. Like he's a very very good playmaker, and I think this is going to be great. But those two guys, even though as much as I love those picks, and Seattle might have had the best draft I think of any team. Me personally, I felt that way about the guys that they picked, the guys that I liked. But they ended up picking Milrow, who I think is just a steal at quarterback. Like I think
We
that guy,
watched him. We watched him the other night.
yeah,
Like
I think
he
he's going
was
to be an
kind of
amazing
crushing it.
quarterback in this league. Amazing. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in this league and a
Yeah.
starter. But I like the fact that the way they've drafted him and kind of not kept him under the radar, but like people aren't talking about him. And it's a really good thing. All this focus is on Shador Sanders and all of this stuff. This guy's just showing up, doing his business. He makes really good throws, really good decisions with the football. When he gets his time, I think he's eventually going to be a starter. Uh,
Yeah. Well, especially too, if you look at that Sam Darnold contract,
yeah,
that contract really is kind of for 1 year.
yeah,
That's
it
it.
is. Yeah,
Like, so I think if they see enough with Milrow, like,
they don't feel bad moving on from Darnold.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that would be too bad because I really like the situation with Darnold. I wish he had stayed in Minnesota, but that didn't happen that way. But like this front office, listen, they added a ton of talent to this team through the draft.
yeah,
11 picks, man. 11 picks. It just I mean, I just think with Darnold being there, you look at the playmakers he has in Cup, JSN, and Walker. Walker's a stud. This did you see the tight end that they have there too?
sure do.
Arroyo, is it
Yeah,
Arroyo? Is that his name? He's
yeah.
he is a monster. This guy is going to be awesome in this league to watch. I just think they need a little more consistency on the right side of their offensive line. Right? They drafted those bookend tackles 3 years ago. It hasn't gone perfect, but like if they can figure it out on the right side and get someone there that can be consistent, I think it could be very very good for them. I think the biggest thing is health, right? Uh, but
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
sure.
I don't nobody I've tried looking for a good article on, and nobody's really been able to explain why they had to get rid of DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I don't have a good understanding of that either. maybe they
because like there's a
didn't want to pay
world where
him.
they could have brought him, kept him, and still brought in Cooper Cup, and then we're talking about this team as a Super Bowl contender.
This is the issue though, and not to say that other teams haven't done it, but it really severely hampers your ability to go out and um,
Yeah,
sign big free agents if you're or sign your own guys, right? Because before they become free agents, if you have a lot of money tied up in certain positions, right? And if you've got quarterback and two wide receivers you're paying a ton of money to, it's really difficult to do that.
yeah. Look at Cincinnati.
Yeah, so
Like
I
that's
I,
that.
I
Yeah,
think what they're doing is they're moving they moved on from him, hoping that JSN they liked what they saw in him, and feel
he
like
had a big year last year.
yeah, and
Big year.
yeah, and they maybe feel like he's going to be that guy. He was a stud in college. He wasn't. Was he a rookie last year? JSN
No, 2 years.
2 years
Jason
ago.
was a
Yeah, yeah.
rookie 2 years
He
ago. Yeah,
wasn't that um super as a rookie, right? Last year he played much better. We saw some flashes from him his rookie season, but it took him a
yeah.
year to get adjusted. And last year he was quite good.
But he's now the number one guy, and I
Yeah,
don't. And I'm gonna say a thing. He got a lot of opportunity because the guy lining up on the other side of him was DK Metcalf.
yeah, I think JSN's such a good route runner and he's got such good hands. I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to matter. But Cooper Cup can't be. Um, you can't ignore him. He's still a good
You
player, man.
sure when he's healthy,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's kind of the thing why I kind of I've thought about with Seattle is like if you're telling me you're going to get a Cooper Cup that's going to play 17 games and give you 1,200 yards receiving,
You're going to be a very good team. Mhm.
cool. I could see you guys winning 10 games, but I don't
Oh,
think that's the Cooper Cup you're getting anymore.
yeah. I don't think he needs to be that. He doesn't need to be Triple Crown Cooper Cup.
No, but I think he needs to take some of the pressure off JSN.
Yeah,
Like,
he will. He will, man. Like he's one of the best route runners in the league.
sure.
He has a way to be able to move guys around, but it's going to be a joint effort as well, right? Like
Yeah.
again, I understand what you're saying, right? DK was that one guy that you could throw it his way, and it didn't matter if he was covered. He might be able to come down with it, right?
Yeah.
JSN, I'm not sure he's that guy yet. So I think there needs to be a little shift in terms of what they're doing, right? Um,
Yeah.
I think Darnold has a worse line than he had when he was in Minnesota. I think
Oh, no doubt.
I think Darnold has worse receivers than he did when he was in Minnesota. I
Couldn't
think
agree more with that statement.
I
Yeah.
think Darnold has a worse tight end than he did when he was in Minnesota. And
Yep.
I also think he doesn't have the right head coach there to pump him the way he needs to be, like he did in Minnesota. So,
You laying out all these points makes me feel better about them finishing. Me picking that they're going to finish third in this division
yeah. I um I actually
because the thing with Sam Darnold,
mhm,
he was so much fun watching him last year.
it was.
But can you do it again?
If he does, will you not you, but will ESPN get off his back? I don't think they will. I think they're still
Probably
gonna
not.
wait for the next brick to fall, right? And then they'd just be like, "Oh yeah, he sucked," right?
Because
Like,
we've seen so many quarterbacks have that one monster year, get paid, and then just you never hear from him again.
yeah, I don't know. I
I
think
do worry. I do worry with Darnold. This isn't the right situation for him.
yeah, I'm not positive about that. Like maybe he can make it work there, and it's you know,
Sure.
and he's their guy, and they feel good about him, but. I don't know, man. I think Arizona and San Francisco might poach some games off them in the division this year. I have them finishing at 10-7 and second in the division.
I have them finishing 9-8 as well. I think
Okay.
they're a good enough team and they're talented enough that I think they're gonna beat some pretty. They're gonna beat all the bad teams and
Mm-hmm.
like some all right teams. There's just enough questions about their offensive line, coupled with Sam Darnold being your quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
that there's just a lot of big what ifs. Like they need Cooper Cup to be good.
Mm-hmm.
They need their offensive line to be good. They need Sam Darnold to be good. And like just when you start doing that with your team, you're like, I need a lot of these things to go right. That's what I don't trust it. And
But
maybe they all do go right.
well, so
Maybe they do.
this is the thing. Like the that methodology of thinking, that thought process, right, is right. Every team needs to go through that. but
Yeah.
every team feels a little differently about some of those questions, right? So,
Right.
if they're big pain areas like an offensive line, or I need all of these things to happen and go perfectly for me to flourish, like it's not that doesn't give you a feel good experience going into it. Um,
No, like, and these aren't like just like some kind of question. These are legit question marks.
mhm.
Like,
I I
so
I do think the defense is going to be better uh,
I agree.
this
I can,
year.
you and I can agree on that. Like that
Yeah,
defense is going to be the reason they're in a lot of games.
yeah. I think they're going to run out the two-headed monster with Walker and Charbonnet. I think they'll be all right with that. I just because that's kind of the way the league's running, right? Going into like
Yeah,
two-headed monster at running back there, but um, yeah, I don't know, man. Second in the division, I think that's where it probably ends for them. They get 10 games.
sure.
I don't know much more than that. The last team we've got the Rams, right? Like, and this is a very hot team to talk about right now. It just feels like people are coming around on them big time, and I'm seeing it on
Yeah,
all the news networks. They're like talking up the Rams now. They finished last year with a 10-7 record. They won the NFC West. They beat the Vikings handily in the opening round, but lost to the Eagles 28-22 in the divisional round. Just a very impressive year for them last year, considering the defense was young. They were looking to try to replace Aaron Donald. They played really well, right? Nakua was hurt for some of the season, which didn't help. Sean McVay is still showing, though, at a very young age, that he can outcoach and out scheme other coaches in this league, and that's the part that I'm all about, man. I really like Sean
Sean
McVay.
McVay. He's been in my life for so long, but I can't remember the first time I saw him in my
I
life.
feel like he's an older brother, but at the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
time, he's been coaching the head coach of a national football team for the last 6 years, right? Like I think
yeah,
he was 32 when he was hired as head coach.
yeah.
I could be wrong, but he was very, very young. And I'm like, man, I'm really underachieving in life. This guy's coaching an NFL football team. What am I doing? I need to get
Yeah,
it
he's won a
together.
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Like,
he's done it a lot. He's been to a couple Super Bowls too.
yeah,
Yeah. But what they're doing with this team, I really, really like. Free agency, they went after Puna Ford, which I don't know. Google him. That will give you some fun, right? This isn't my favorite signing, but I just want to clarify this. It's not because I don't like him. It's because of who else they signed. Like this signing strengthens their young interior that they have along that defensive line with Fisk and Verse. I really think like they're going to be very, very good on defense. And Puna Ford, you look at the stat sheet and you're kind of like, this guy's just a space eater, man. He is able to absorb a lot, and a lot of people pad stats because of this guy. Um,
yeah.
so he's going to be awesome on the defense at the center there. Then they signed Devontae Adams, which I really, if you had asked me, there was no team, no way I thought he was going to LA. I really didn't. And, it's not like I was in the know or not in the know or whatever it was, right? But I did not envision the Rams making a move like that to bring him in there. And I think,
Did you know that he had 1,000 yards, almost 1,100 yards receiving last
yeah,
year?
yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize that.
No, the way
Like,
the season
because
went, if you told me that he had 500 yards and like 4 touchdowns, you'd be like, that seems right. But he didn't.
1,063 and 8 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I'm shocked
yeah.
because he played with some really shitty quarterbacks last year.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
um,
Wait,
you know how we just
last
talked
year,
about what's that?
last year. Well, he
Yeah, I mean
started.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, but he's got good rapport with Aaron, right? Like he was able to get most of those touchdowns while he was a
Sure.
Jet. But at the beginning of the season, it was looking really, really rough for him.
Yeah.
In Vegas, it's weird in a year like he moved that many times, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of crazy. I just think you try to stack him opposite Puka. My God, like this team just has scary potential, all up
Can
and
I
down.
remember when we just talked about Seattle and
Yeah,
I was like, hey, nobody's been able to give a good answer on why they couldn't keep DK Metcalf.
yeah.
I'm going to kind of ask the same thing with the Rams. What was the reason? Nobody's been able to give a good reason on why they got rid of Cooper Cup.
I think they just didn't want to. They couldn't get to the same amount, agree on the same amount together, which is kind of sad. But he hasn't really put out the production that warranted the contract that he got before, right? Like, and that's not the way it works. It's not like you've done well these 4 years. I'm paying you to replicate and do better with than
Yeah.
you did the last 4 years. That never happens, almost never, right? But you're paying off of stuff that they did do in hopes that they might do it again, right? And like injuries, unfortunately, curtailed some of that for him. But it was sad to kind of see him go because he had such good rapport with Stafford, had spent his whole career with the Rams, and like you really felt like him being there, like that was a good, like he was a Ram, right? It's going to be
Right.
weird seeing him in a Seahawks uniform this year, and knowing that he's got to play in LA at least once this year.
Yeah.
The
Uh, the thing I love everything that they've done in the
mm-hmm,
off season. The I think the thing that like two things, and they're both Matthew Stafford related.
mm-hmm,
One, they tried trading this guy in the offseason. And and that concerns me only because like they clearly have pretty good access to him. He's been in their building for a few years now. Like,
mm-hmm.
how healthy is he really? Because he already is suffering with the back stuff in
Yeah,
training camp. And like, respectfully, if Stafford can't play, this is a house of cards.
yeah. I don't.
This is a big house of cards. Everybody thinks they're gonna like are a Super Bowl contender, and it's all because they think Stafford's gonna be healthy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, okay, so in to push back on that, in all fairness, you could say that about any team as long as their quarterback stays healthy. But you're bringing it up about
Sure.
a quarterback that's 40 years old that does have a history of some injuries, has stayed
Yeah.
fairly healthy, but has had some injuries through his year. I think he had a lacerated spleen one year. Like
Yeah.
this dude's been through a lot, right? Like his body's been through a lot in football. I think he's going to be good to go, which means Jack Diddley. But I think he's going to be healthy enough to lead this team this year. And I feel like they're going to do very well. I think him, McVay, and Les Snead all know that like the window of him winning a Super Bowl is closing within this year
Yeah.
or next year. Um, I think they know they've got to make the moves, right? To try to do that. And I feel like that's why they went to go get Devontae. Now let me ask you, so like they're shopping Stafford after the year, trying to trade him and stuff.
Mm.
Then they go and bring in Devontae. Now let me ask you this. Do you think they would have done that if they really thought that he wasn't healthy enough to get through another year?
I don't know. I mean I guess
They could have
I
gone a
think that
different
like
direction, right? Like you cut Cup, right? You're
yeah.
thinking about trading Stafford. Maybe you do that and then you just revamp, right? You got a really young team, a lot of young guys on there on both sides of the ball. Maybe you just get a young quarterback in there and go from there. But
Yeah, I mean like the draft wasn't like a big quarterback draft this year. So like there's and there weren't like a lot of like free I mean like I'm gonna be honest with you, for a little while when they were trying to shop Stafford, I thought about Sam Darnold playing for the Rams and Sean McVay being able to like I secretly low key in a perverse way wanted that.
hmm,
Because Sean McVay is a guy that like Matthew Stafford, great on his own,
yeah,
but he has made Stafford better by being his head coach.
yeah, he has. They and Sean McVay's a genius. He really is. So, like the stuff
Yeah,
that he's able to remember is the way his brain works is incredible. Um,
yeah,
I just like I said, man, I feel like this team's good. I think they are. They've got a lot of talent on here. They're middle of the pack in terms of difficulty on schedule. I I think if they can go 5-2 and make it to the bye, which like the matchups they have, it's doable for them. They could drop a couple games in there. Their next 10 games after that are really good matchups for them. Really good. So I mean I don't think they're going to be world beaters this year, but I'm picking them to end up in the NFC Championship game, which I know is kind of a crazy stretch, but that's what we're doing.
yeah, yeah. I think you have them what going 12-5.
12-5. Yep.
I think that's about the same. Like looking at their schedule, I that
Right?
division's
You
gonna be
see the
weird.
path, right? You see it there.
Yeah,
They'll
I could
probably
see them.
lose a couple games, right? But
I could see them flirting with a 1 seed. Like I could see, you know what I mean? Like I think there's a world. I'm trying to think through. I know when we talked after we were done with the AFC, like, hey, gun to your head, who do you think's going to be in the NFC Championship game? And the Rams just like make a lot of sense for me on a lot of ways. And I think that if they have a good enough record, they're not going to have to see Philadelphia
mhm,
until the conference championship game.
right.
Um, yeah, because you just really want to be the 2 seed because you want no part of Philly. Because for me, I think Philly's going to get to be the 1 seed. I think we can all like just kind of we can kind of pencil that in.
At least as preseason favorites, you feel that way, right?
Sure,
They
which means like, yeah,
yeah, go ahead, continue. I don't want to cut you off.
no, which I think means like you want to just be the 2 seed and you want to have no part of them until the conference championship. And there are really only 2 teams that I think have a real shot at like contending for the 1 seed, and it's them in Detroit.
Mhm.
And I think, respectfully, I think Detroit's going to regress because the loss of both coordinators,
Yeah, there's some people picking
which means
Detroit
that
not
I think
making
it's
the
going to be the
playoffs.
Rams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's
So this is something that I want to mention because I feel like this happens sometimes as we get towards the postseason or we're doing uh preseason picks and stuff like that to look at these teams and picking the records and all of that. There's a lot of AFC teams. Like I could name probably 3 to 4 AFC teams that I think could win 13 games right now, 12 to 13, right? There's not that many in the NFC. So I think what we start to do is when we see teams with like 11 wins or 12 wins, we start to diminish how good that conference is and say like, "Oh, well, there's a 14 game winner in the AFC. So because of that, the NFC's weaker this year." And stuff. But then when you realize when you get to the playoffs, it doesn't matter if they've been strong, weak, anything in between all season. It matters how you are on that one day. And this
yeah,
team on one day, I'd put them up against any other team in the NFL. Like
yeah, me
that's
too.
how good they are. They're good enough on defense. They are good enough on offense. They're dangerous on offense.
And
They're
the thing
downright
is with the
dangerous.
Rams, the thing with the Rams is you're never going to outcoach them. You're just not. Like, so that's already like
Well, it happened. It happened
it
in
does.
a Super
Yeah,
Bowl, but you're right. Like he's a very difficult person to outcoach because he's already thinking. He already knows all the
yeah.
things that he knows the answers to the test. That's what it is.
Yeah,
A
and I
Brady
think
quote.
he clearly took that as a learning experience. And
Yeah.
like you look at him now, this decade, he's the best coach in the league. It's like him, Kevin O'Connell,
Andy
Andy
Reid,
Reid. Like
Nick Sirianni.
you could kind of make a case for Mike Tomlin, maybe, like for all the stuff he gets out of like
Yeah, the only
his
reason I don't
quarterbacks.
yeah, the only reason I don't put Tomlin there is they haven't won a playoff game since what, 2016? Like it's been 10
Hear me
years,
out.
dude.
He he got 9 wins out of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year.
Yeah, no.
That says something about your coaching.
Did
Like you have to be a good coach to get 9 wins out of them combined.
Let me ask you, did you how what kinds of emotions and feelings did you have when you saw Justin Fields running that touchdown in the preseason?
Um, Not many, just because they're the Jets and they'll fuck this up. Yeah, yeah, it's like one of the things you can kind of set your clock to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
no, especially when the Jets have preseason hype. I wish that I could gamble because I would just gamble like bet everything the Jets under. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I just would.
I'll tell you,
So
I really think the Rams are going to be awesome this year. I'm
me
disappointed
too.
that I live in Istanbul because I won't be able to watch their games at a normal time, but like live games and stuff, which is a little frustrating because I should be sleeping at that point and getting
Yeah,
dressed for work. But Mr. Shane shows up a little tired. We'll know why. So,
yeah, that's
uh,
right.
all right, so that officially wraps it up. We've been through all 32 teams, right? Every team in the NFL, every division. And those are kind of our picks for the year. Now, granted, those picks may change with
Yeah,
certain injuries and stuff like that. These are preseason picks that we're making. But
yeah.
the episode after this, we will come back with because it's going to be the start of the NFL season, right? Maybe not next week. Yeah, maybe the
Um,
following week we'll give our picks.
Following week.
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
season to see Offensive Player of the Year, MVP,
Yeah.
where our teams finish, all of that. And kind of a fun thing, we're gonna give a little token of appreciation back to last year and bring out the list of what our picks were for last year and show just how
Love
good we
that.
were. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
anything else you wanted to say today before we let the kids go?
Any of my picks that were wrong, I was drunk at the time. That's the excuse I'm going to use.
Okay,
So,
I plead the fifth.
yep.
All
Yep.
right. Well, dude, other than
So,
that, I love you, bro. Have a great rest of
man,
your
I
day.
love you too.
All right. You take care. Peace.
Peace.